All right, here's part 3. So apparently these are all going to be like roughly 3-parters. So bye. Let's talk about this. As I was saying, if you have doing a comparative essay for this, you could be comparing peaceful means, whereby you have the two purchase themselves, as well as this one here where they negotiate, versus violent means for freedom, which you could also you could include 2 because you have a little bit of both in that, as well as 4 and 5. Really, so you're looking at either a comparative one or a continuity and change over time, depending how you want to look at things with this one. So if we're looking to plug in outside information, as I noted, page 619, page 672, and page 783 are the timeline bits only from the book. Obviously, you can put more into your timeline than that. So let's look at 619. So we have, it talks about Spanish takeover of the Philippines, 1607, Jamestown, Virginia. And yeah, that's it does talk about 1530s and the first Portuguese plantations in Brazil. So you could use that to frame, Africans from a very early stage were involved in the Americas in the 1530s. Portuguese established plantations in Brazil, starting this process of resistance and accommodation with the nature of slavery. Page 672. Let's see what we got here. Sorry, 671, my bad. 671 talks about Potosi gold mining. Um, 18th century peak of the transatlantic slave trade. So you could plug that in. You say, as the transatlantic slave trade was developing, peaking in the middle of the 18th century, Africans were forced to accommodate it as well as resist it. Page 783 for the last section. It talks about let's see here. Probably the most important one is it talks about the Haitian Revolution, and it talks about the end of the slave trade in the British Empire. So you could talk about, by 1800, the slave trade is starting increasingly seen as a moral evil, and by 1807, the British ban it altogether, which of course changes the nature of African people or Black people's interaction with the institution of slavery. So that's how you would plug in some of this outside information. In terms of the documents themselves, this one is a legal document. How that would work. This one is Spanish governor, so clearly he is interested in settling these people to the Spanish advantage and not pursuing it further. Venture Smith, obviously, he speaks for himself. Who is he talking to? He is relating this, published in 1798. This was part of the abolitionist movement. So this was an attempt to further the cause of abolition. French officer, they're on the side of the Americans. 1781, you didn't have the French Revolution yet, so where is he coming from? It's not altogether clear. I probably wouldn't use that, the hip items for that particular document. And lastly, Toussaint Louverture. Toussaint Louverture is the leader of the Haitian slave revolt. Who's he writing to? He's writing to the French government. He is telling them what he thinks and what the people he leads thinks about this. So he's warning them. So clearly he is setting he is putting a marker down and saying this is the way it's going to be. Okay. So those are the various things I'd think about when going through and doing this particular DBQ in terms of how you would arrange it. Continuity over time or a comparative one, and then you'd plug those little pieces in to flesh it out a little bit more, add extra information, sort of balance your argument out. Okay. All right. So I think that's where we're going to stop and see if I can get Screencastify to do what I want it to do. Okay. All right. So let's, we're at 425 right now. So I think that is probably it. And I will sign off now. Good night, folks. I'll be putting the one for the Review DBQ number 3 up shortly. That is over European struggles over power combined with local conflicts. And if you did the Caribbean smuggling one already, sorry about that. You beat me to the punch. Anywho, bye, folks. I will talk to you again soon.